We have 18 schools in our district. The elementary school that my children went to was on the north side of Evanston, and we were able to fundraise pretty easily for the things that the school needed. But I was noticing there was a really sharp divide between schools on the south side who couldn't.
My children went to one of the schools on the south side that couldn't, and it seems that you and I both were complaining, and at some point we must have complained to the same person because we didn't know each other at all, and they said, the two of you should get together and talk.
That's kind of what blows my mind about it, that you and I really didn't know each other at all when we started this.
But when we met, we had a very clear philosophical agenda. We believed every child should have the same opportunities as any other child in the district. Obviously, there were a lot of incredible challenges.
Just even getting people to agree to talk was shockingly difficult, and there was a lot of resistance. One of the most impactful meetings that we had at the beginning was literally we just put big sticky Post-it notes up in a wall around the room, and we asked people, bring in your PTA budget from last year, and let's write down the things that you paid for. And it was a very eye-opening
I remember
experience.
So vividly sitting there, because what we did is we had the item, right, and said, okay, who has a garden, right? And then it went around the room, and every single school that had a garden said they had a garden, right? Whether it was garden, science fair, and, being a part of one of the schools that had to say, no, we don't have that, over and over and over again, being able to see that, like, the same 4 or 5 schools were not having 80% of the things that the other schools were having.
We asked the group, okay, now that we know this, we can just continue on, or we can do something about it. And unanimously, the entire group was like, yeah, this can't stand. We have to do something about it. And that's exactly what we did. We started out the PTA Equity Project, which is where all of our parent fundraising through PTAs goes into a single fund that then gets redistributed to schools based on an equitable formula.
Yeah.
The other real inflection point for us was the pandemic.
Because we had been doing this work for several years, we were able to make the argument that we wanted kids to get fed and families to be taken care of more than it mattered which school they were from. And so within 2.5 months, we distributed $500,000 to families in need.
I think that experience really showed everyone the power of the one fund model. I think we always knew that it was bigger than the one problem, that we were trying to change people's minds fundamentally on how they looked at schools, how they looked at their community.
Who they saw as their community. Right?
Exactly.
That all of these students in all of these schools are their children.
Right. And that doesn't mean taking away anything from your child. It just means making sure everybody has what they need, because that's really what this has been about. And, gaining a best friend along the way.
That was a great perk.